Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of Coco and the Sun podcast. I am your host, Malika Critchlow, and today we continue with the series, the book reading series of the Hathor Material Messages from an Ascended Civilization by Tom Kenyon and Virginia Essien. And and yeah, that's it really. I don't have any I don't have anything to share. Today I'm dealing myself with remembering that love is internal, that trusting yourself is vital, that you're not defined by titles, that you're here to ride the wave and enjoy the journey. And that means sometimes not knowing what the next step is going to be. To stay in the moment and enjoy the present. And finding your joy there. So today is a day of introspection and reiteration of lessons, I guess. Yeah, I think that's what's going on. A remembering of the things you need to know in order to live the life that you want. I think that's what's going on. Again, I am in the process, so I do not have all the answers. I don't know. So I read the Celestine Prophecies, which I think is the next book I would like to do on here, but I did it on Audible. I listened to it on Audible. I don't have the hard copy. So if I'm able to obtain one, then that would be probably the next book. So I feel that book came into my field, my life. I'm saying a lot of arms today because I'm thinking a lot and I'm in process. But yeah, so the book I think has a lot of I think a summarization of all these other books on how to actually live it step by step, all the different parts of it. So yeah, so I think the book came in when I needed it, and it helped with some questions. I had some questions on synchronicities. I see a lot of synchronicities, right? So like angel numbers or creatures or birds, dreams, videos. I can pretty much ask a question and I'll get some form of answer via angel numbers, animals that I come across my field. Elephants are major these days. Dreams, videos on YouTube or Instagram. I have learned this a while now. Like I can ask a question and most likely get an answer. There is one thing I have been asking. I have been asking what the answer is for one particular thing, and it's usually kind of quiet, or the answer isn't the type of answer I'm looking for. So I don't know, and I don't know what. So in the book, they were talking about synchronicities, and he does talk in the last, I think it's his afterword. Is his name James Redfield? I can't remember. Redfield is the last name of the author. He talks about if you think the synchronicities aren't strong enough, you can increase the synchronicities by sitting in stillness and intentioning for divine connection or divine love, which will generally put you in a state of trust and, love and feeling like everything's going to work out and hopefulness. And from that state, usually the synchronicities or opportunities kind of pop up to kind of show you where to go. And the Palladians did mention this as well in Bring Us the Dawn. They said once you start mastering yourself or your frequency, then the next steps drop in. So it's just in a different way, essentially, right? So mastering yourself, your frequency would be living in your joy, right? So things will happen to make you doubt things or not think things are going to happen the way you want it. Situations, unexpected stuff. And the way you're able to process it and get back to a stable sense of well-being where everything will work out for you, best things are happening for you, not to you. A state of not worrying and following your guidance, right? Not too much overthinking and stuff. Then the next steps happen. This is not a very easy thing to do. Can be. So I have periods where I'm able to do it previously, like in the past few years, and things will flow. And then there are periods where I'm just not able to maintain it, right? The worries and the fears kick in, and the doubts if I'm able to do this. And so at different times too in my life, and then you'll see how things take longer to come. So basically the book kind of reminded, and they give a process for getting back to that state of being. They don't call it, I don't think he calls it mastering yourself, really. He just gives a step-by-step thing. If you're not finding synchronicities of flowing and you don't know what the next steps are, you need to connect to the source energy, the source love. And from there, you will feel supported and loved and encouraged. You'll not worry. You won't have any fears. And you'll feel secure, right? And so then the next action, inspired action or thought comes through. The next intuition, maybe even, right? So I think the book helped me remember that. And most days I'm able to be there. It takes sometimes stopping and saying, hey, what do I want to do now? What will bring me joy now? What does my heart want to do now? And doing it if it's something I can do. Usually it's something I can do. It's usually nothing. He was right. I mean, I do want to go to Hawaii or Mexico City, but those are not things I want to do right now in the moment. Like right now in the moment, I might want to watch a particular show or talk to someone, or read a certain book, or take a nap, or eat something that I want to eat, like people ice cream or for cake. Or I might want to cook something that I've been feeling for. So you have to pay attention to the things that I want to do and do them instead of sitting there trying to think about the future and how to get to where I want to get. Just I have to really think about now. So so that's what I'm dealing with today. Sort of recentering and remembering and putting into action how to do that. So I don't know if that helps anyone. And we need to see if it works. It does work though, because I know it does. It's worked before. I don't know why I doubt it sometimes. I don't know why. Why do we doubt things that we've seen work before? I don't know. I don't know, but it should work again. I think you know why? Because I I think I've been there many days or many months, right? And I've gotten the next steps, but the next step it's like so many little steps, and it's not showing me the step I need to see to understand how it's sustaining. But it is giving me the next little steps and little steps and little steps, right? And I am following them most of the times, all of the times, little steps that I have to do with things I enjoy doing. And like, wow, that'd be so great to do. Let me do it. I don't know why I didn't think about this before. Let me do that. I think it gets me closer to what I want, but I still can't see how. Or not in the near future. I don't see how in the near future. And I worry about how things are going to flow for the next future. But I really shouldn't, should try to live in the moment and let the how it come. And also looking forward to how it comes in a way that I don't expect it, right? All of that should be fun instead of, I want to know how this comes. I want to know every step of the way and not enjoy the spontaneity, the surprise. Like, opening the gift Christmas morning, you don't know what the gift is, but and it's just something that's absolutely perfect for you that you love. And trying to get back to that mindset sometimes it's not, I forget that. And I'm like, wow, this is the gift I want, and I want it wrapped this way. And so when I see it under the gift, under the tree, I'm not as excited because I know what it is, but I know what it is. So I know I got that. know. Whereas not knowing what it is, it could be a plethora of things that I wanted in ways that I didn't expect it. So getting back to that excitement of not knowing and expecting the not knowing to be good, not bad, you know? Anyways, so I don't know how this will play out, y'all. Chapter 9 is the fulcrum moment, and we will get started. So let's see how long this chapter is. What is this? Is this the whole thing is high? I don't know. Yes, the whole thing is high. Maybe it has some answers for me here. Who knows? Who knows? Usually it does. The thing that I'm talking about before, which I never know what I'm going to talk about before, because I want it to be as organic as possible. It doesn't look as planned. I want it to be like a natural conversation. I think usually when I do talk about stuff, though somehow the chapter kind of aligns with what I'm saying. So maybe there's some answers here for me. I hope. So let's get started a little bit. Chapter 9, the fulcrum point. We would now like to address what we see as one of the most opportune moments for your evolution and the acceleration of growth in human history. It has to do with the speeding up of events in this dimension so that, as we have said previously, you'll be experiencing more and more awareness in less and less clock time. This is creating and will continue to create strong emotional reactions and feeling responses. The feelings and emotions that you're experiencing in this period of greater intensity are to be treasured, not avoided, for they are your modern day initiations into higher consciousness. You do not need to enter a mystery school these days for your various trainings and initiations, as once humans did in Egypt. There, the ancient temples of Egypt were spread out along the Nile River in a successive order of difficulty, and the initiates would go to these temples to receive instruction. Each temple would present them with some new situation to master. The temple initiations were part of their evolutionary process. Now, however, you do not need to go to Egypt or any other place to experience your initiations. The trials and tests that you face in your physical body, in your relationships, in your work, and in your spiritual endeavors are your modern day initiatory trials for higher consciousness. By viewing them in this way, the difficult experiences of your life can be experienced for what they are, initiations instead of something to be avoided or something by which to feel victimized. Many humans call out, "Why me?" and blame God for their negative circumstances because they do not understand the part their own consciousness plays in the unfolding of their lives. We've called this chapter the fulcrum moment because the metaphor of the fulcrum is an apt example in regard to understanding consciousness at the three-dimensional realm. The fulcrum is like the balance point of a childhood seesaw or teeter-totter, often seen in parks. Two children will sit at opposite ends of a narrow board and is supported in the center, the fulcrum. The children take turns pushing up, forcing the other end of the seesawing child to move down. The fulcrum point is the point at which the seesaw board pivots. As long as there is movement, there is the force of the polarities, up-down movement on the fulcrum point. This is a beautiful metaphor for consciousness itself. For as consciousness moves into duality from its still point of non-duality, opposite forces come into play. As with the seesaw, in your world of polarities, as something moves up, something else must go down, and so on. In your current life as a human being on this planet, you are experiencing a rapid acceleration of many multidimensional forces, global multidimensional forces, physical, mental, emotional, cultural, social, spiritual, global, and many of these are happening simultaneously. The fulcrum point for you as a human being is where these multidimensional forces interconnect in the present moment. If you've ever sat on a seesaw, you know that there is a possibility of a balance point in which the opposite ends of the seesaw are parallel to the ground and there is no movement. That moment is a perfect balancing of dualities, and the fulcrum point would be in a neutral state of friction or activity. However, when the dualities begin to move again, one end moves up while the other end moves down, the fulcrum point experiences an increase of activity and friction. You, as a human being, experience that friction as an increase of pressure through the emotional or feeling nature, so that as events intensify, your feelings also intensify in the present moment. Your feelings, the point about which these feelings intensify is your fulcrum moment. This is the initiatory portal. This is the doorway to your soul's accelerated evolution and ascended awareness. The fulcrum point of your life, moment to moment, instant to instant, is experienced within the most sacred temple of your physical body. How to deal with your experiences is your choice as an individual. Yet, if you fail to see your life and this planet as a sacred space, fail to see this life as an initiatory process, then you may go into blame, discounting, or avoidance. There are many ways to avoid the present moment of one's life. However, if you align with this understanding that the events and experiences of your life are your initiatory process, then you will hold sacred whatever is occurring, even if it is difficult. The initiatory process is essentially strewn with difficulties, tests, and trials. For this is how the soul grows. Mastery over a particular level or domain of self brings mastery to the soul. Fundamentally, you are working through the emotional, mental, and spiritual contents of your own consciousness. And this is experienced through the events of your life, specifically the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that these events trigger within you. If you honor the fulcrum point, the present moment of your life, as that center, that pivotal focus of your own consciousness, then you are prepared to move into a different relationship with your experience. Honor your experience and feeling responses, because they are the meaning, context, and purpose of your life. This very instant, you're using the experience of your life, whatever they are, as footholds to climb the mountain of your own consciousness. From our understanding, there is an element that needs to be added, and that is mastery of one's energy. It's just talking about mastering yourself. You may have noticed that when your emotional reactions are strong, or when things occur that are overwhelming, you are less able to deal effectively with them, less able to cope and make the right choices for yourself, and less able to use that opportunity as fuel for the information of your own consciousness. What we have often observed is that when people go into the moments of intense overwhelm and slip into unconsciousness, they will attempt to avoid awareness of that present moment, the fulcrum point of their experience, by drifting, sleeping, overworking, or avoiding the whole thing in some other ways, such as drugs, food, or alcohol. For some of you, even meditation can be a subtle form of avoidance. The tools that we share in this material are meant to help you master your energy so that when you enter into a fulcrum or pivotal moment and the intensity of that moment increases, you have the energy mastery to align positively, to align yourself positively. You will have both the awareness of what is happening and the mastery of your energy fields to make correct choices for yourself in that moment. These two aspects together create a powerful vortex that allow you to flow quickly into high levels of consciousness. Both must be in place, however. The both things you have to have is the awareness of what is happening and the mastery of your energy to make correct choices in the moment, to flow quickly into higher levels. Both must be in place, however. You must understand, appreciate, and honor your life experience. Then you must use your feeling responses in the initiatory process to achieve the energy mastery that stabilizes and allows you to take advantage of these growth opportunities. Yes. It is ironic and paradoxical that consciousness can initiate either a heaven or hell around the same event. The reactions that you experience in response to various different events actually have very little to do with the events themselves. This is the initiatory awareness, the coming to understand that whatever occurs, you are creating your emotional or feeling responses and you are responsible for them. There are emotional states you tend to experience as hellish, a kind of purgatory in which you are tormented by the demons of your own attachments, fears, pains, angers, and sadness. And there are emotional states where you feel content, centered, loved, and fulfilled. Simply recognize that these two pole states, heaven and hell, are within you, within your own consciousness, within your own being. They are not located physically in space anywhere. They are within you. They are polar opposites that work and move and pulsate from one to the other. The fulcrum point of your life experience is that edge on which they teeter. As you acquire this understanding and master your energy flows, you will be better able to balance the polarities within yourself. Taking the metaphor of the fulcrum point even deeper, we would say that those events that seem to be happening externally are actually catalysts that create a response within you. The events themselves are essentially empty. They are triggers, however, that are causing something to respond from within your own consciousness. As you go through the initiatory process of your life, you will have feelings and emotional responses to innumerable and often challenging things. This is your nature as a human. But if you experience these emotional feeling responses with awareness and self-compassion, look lovingly within yourself, and so to speak, you will find polarities within your own being that are creating your suffering. The polarities are ruled by your beliefs and choices from the deepest levels of your own consciousness. The purpose and nature of initiation is to provide a mirror to reflect back to the soul so that it can clearly see and understand the choices it has made. The initiatory processes of your life that you are living today and the people and situations you encounter are all holding a mirror for you. Consequently, when you experience something difficult, and if you do not look at what you are feeling inside of yourself in response to that event, you will miss a tremendous opening for greater awareness and clarity. This is the power of the fulcrum point. It is a sacred moment. Every moment of your experience is sacred, and when you find yourself in situations that are difficult and challenging, know that you have entered another initiatory opportunity. This makes it a time for rejoicing, a time for awareness, clarity, and self-compassion. As you master the tools that we have given and will continue to give your energy body, and will continue to give, your energy body will align in such a way that you'll be able to take advantage of these initiatory experiences in a constructive and creative manner. So shall the soul advance. We would now like to share a story, a legend, that we have in our culture concerning one human living in that earlier historical period you call ancient Egypt. In a way, the story symbolizes the current human experience on Earth. Then we're going to get a story about Hathor. Let me get a drink first. Okay. Are we ready for the story? Are we all comfy and ready? Do you have your little thing to drink? Maybe something hot, a nice hot drink or something nice and cold, like some cold coconut water. Let's get cracking. A nice slice of cake would be nice too. I really like cake. It seems that there was an initiate who came to the temple of Hathor. Hathor, the goddess of love and joy, desperately wanting to experience these states of love and joy. But he wanted to enter the initiation process at the highest level without going through the lower temples of the underworld. Each time the hopeful initiate would come to the Hathor temple of love and joy, he would be sent away with the comment, "You are not ready. You must enter the underworld." This person, being very crafty, used various disguises to present himself as a woman, a crippled man, a sage, or even a beggar. Yet, He was still the same person and was sent away. Still, he returned time and time again to the temple of Hathor, wanting and seeking initiation into the mysteries, but without a willingness to go through the lower temples first. Every time he appeared in disguise, he was sent back to the underworld where he refused to enter and begin the initiation process, which would have eventually earned him his heart's desires. The point of this deal is that you cannot bypass your own underworld. You must go down into the catacombs of your own unconsciousness before seeking the higher spiritual mysteries. You see, the higher you go in consciousness, the deeper you must delve to remain in balance. If you go too high in consciousness without balancing your hidden depths, including your own unconsciousness, then you are unbalanced and potentially dangerous. Why? Because then you are acting without awareness of the crucial parts of yourself that are in your own underworld, those aspects that are not evolved, such as your angers, your hatreds, your jealousies, your rages, your fantasies, even your death wishes. These things that you try to keep out of awareness are part of your human nature, and your task as a human being is to integrate and heal all levels of your experience in this dimension. One of these levels of this experience, which must be healed, has to do with what you call darkness, which we call unawareness. That darkness is unawareness. The task of evolution, as we say it, is to expand awareness so that it is all-encompassing and becomes incorporated into all of your beingness. The process, the circumstances, and the events that are occurring on your planet at this time are of such an intense nature that they are activators for those feelings and beliefs that live in your underworld. The fulcrum point of experience, the intensity of the moment by moment experiences of life, are the initiatory portals allowing you to move into an awareness and understanding of the depths of yourself. Never doubt your nature is profoundly capable of this task, for your consciousness includes the light, the celestial realms of your own being, as well as the dark demonic worlds of your own being. To hold these two polarities in compassion, consciousness, and love is to balance them and to heal the darkness through the power and the light of awareness. This is the task of evolution as we see it. For this level and your dimension, your earth is evolving and rising into a higher level of awareness, vibration, and consciousness, and so, friends of earth, are you. Now, Virginia, do you have any questions for us? Greetings again, Virginia. Virginia says, greetings again. My first question today is suggested by information in this chapter, but in other places as well, concerns your advice regarding what humans presently term psychology. Could you comment about our present effectiveness in using psychology for healing purposes? Also, what do you recommend that our counselors and psychologists do in order to understand and apply energy as a part of their personal professional process? Going to be a long answer. Pathos. Psychology as practiced currently on Earth is extremely limited. Its outcomes are very limited, and the understanding of most psychologists is very narrow from our understanding and perspective. Psychology, for the most part, aims at getting humans to adjust to their society in a way that creates as little difficulty for the individual as possible. So the basic vision or goal is simply one of adaptation. And this adaptation is to a society that is essentially oppressive in regard to human potential. The human being has far greater potential for expression and emotional and mental experience than is conceived of by most psychologies. Many psychologies deal with areas of consciousness that are language-based, which requires much talking and very little time is focused on resolving fundamental energy issues. You see, everything that is held emotionally in the body and in the subtle fields as a distortion, as pain, or as trauma has an energetic component. Therefore, one can talk and talk, but nothing will fundamentally have changed because energetics have not been addressed. So we would say that if individuals working in this field wish to expand themselves and their repertoire to become more effective in healing work, they should include the energetics of emotion and mental states in their methodology, so that the emotions and the energetics of those emotions are addressed directly with their clients. When the energetics of a situation are addressed, then the trauma, the discomfort is resolved, and the nervous system and behavior come back into a state of equilibrium and balance. This brings an increase of wellness in the individual. And from that stable platform, one can then reach the higher mystical spiritual states of consciousness that heighten effectiveness as ascending human beings. Without addressing the emotional state and the energetic components, we simply avoid the problem. Even worse is the use of drugs to suppress energies, because it is possible to chemically alter the brain so that emotional problems can actually be suppressed. A person becomes dependent on the drug to achieve a semi-state, a quasi-state of chemically induced balance. However, as soon as the drug is withdrawn, the person comes back into chaos because the original energies persist. So this is not a solution. This is just making matters worse. There is a relationship between brain chemistry and the energetics of emotion and thought forms and beliefs, but the science of it on Earth is in its infancy. The methods you now use to control brain chemistry with drugs are like using a club to hit a gnat. One needs to be more subtle, more gentle, and more discreet. Virginia, thank you. Could you comment on earlier practices of shock treatment using electricity and other devices? Hathor, it is simply devastating to the person's field, to the nervous system, and it creates rips and tears in their subtle bodies. Since the etheric body is damaged, especially the car or pranic body, shock treatment is a very, very poor choice. There are some occasions where it is effective in creating a behavior change in terms of suppressing certain emotions when everything else has failed. But it is not really understood in the psychology of your day as to why shock treatment sometimes work. It has been observed that it sometimes does help. However, it often leaves the person without memory and with other problems in the energetic fields that are not observed because observers are not sensitive enough to sense what happened to the auric field. The reason that a shock treatment works at all is because when there is a bolus or a surge of energy within the brain and its biochemicals, it's as if an explosion has gone off and the brain comes back to a different type of equilibrium than it had before. Sometimes the equilibrium is better and sometimes it is worse, but it is a very poor, clumsy, crude method to alter brain chemistry and activity. Virginia, thank you. Then do you perceive any use of electromagnetic energies in doing emotional healing? Hathor, yes, and this will become clearer during the coming decades. Sound will also be used much more in the treatment of emotional and mental problems, as well as electromagnetics. And of course, the use of magnets will become much more understood in this regard. Virginia, you've spoken about wellness. How is it that poor health in the physical body affects or influences our attempt to balance these two inner polarities that you speak about here in the Fulcrum Point chapter? Hathor, if the vitality of the car is not strong enough, then one cannot balance energy polarities, nor can one take full advantage of the initiatory opportunities in one's life. If one is fatigued and exhausted, one simply cannot focus. It is not possible. One has to go to sleep or rest and recoup one's energy before one can focus again. Virginia, So, is there a chronic degenerative condition? Sorry. So, if there is a chronic degenerative condition, as many people on the planet are experiencing, especially those in technological countries, what advice or recommendations do you have for us in order to do the best we can to balance these inner polarities? The Hathors. There's a wide topic, and in practice, this is a wide topic, and in practice, things would be tailored to the individual rather than giving broad sweeping information. However, we'll employ a broad sweep in an attempt to answer your question. As we said earlier, the vitality of the planet is decreasing as a result of the loss of minerals and the decrease of oxygen. So basically, what you can do at a biological level is to increase the levels of minerals and oxygen. This increase will help many conditions that are now being experienced. Recently, your scientists have uncovered something called colloidal minerals, which will be found to be very helpful in this regard. There are also products and substances that increase the oxygenation of your bodies. Eating more live foods will help the entire process, specifically sprouts and young tender beans before they become mature. These hold within themselves a very high level of complex proteins and minerals that will help in the process. So eating more live foods with the enzymes undamaged will assist the process of mineralization and increase the absorption of oxygen. This requires your soil to be healthy and pure, of course, and the same for the water. At the physical level, there are a few things that will help greatly, but it's a synergetic process of doing everything you can to increase your vitality, including clarification and elevation of your beliefs and interactions with others. As you strengthen your core, the life force, then other aspects of your consciousness will be strengthened, and you will have more focus, you will have more energy and stamina. At the emotional level, there is another aspect to consider. Remember that the thought forms and the emotional movements of energy taking place in the planetary mass consciousness tend to degrade life force, tend to pull life force out. So as you become a sensitive life force person, you must protect your energy. Your life force is precious and you don't give it away to just anybody. You keep it for your own enhancement and those who are close to you. So you don't give energy away frivolously and you don't take on the negative emotional patterns or the emotional neediness of others. Why? This is one of the things that drains life force quicker than anything. In our experience of Earth, we often observe the misuse of emotion and the misuse of emotional need. As we previously mentioned, this planet is a school for emotion, so it is a very intensely emotional place where emotions abound. And this will only increase as the planet and this entire area of the solar system increases in vibratory rate. So those who give their own energy away to take care of others will find their energy depleted. This depletion of your energy comes directly out of your car. As you become more sensitive to energy in general and to your own energy in particular, you can sense when someone is drawing energy out or when you're giving it away. You will feel fatigued and drained. Virginia. So is that a warning to all of us, the half of us? Definitely. It's a particular warning to all humans who are emotional caretakers. One can so completely take care of another person emotionally that one has nothing left for oneself, and this is not spiritual enlightenment or attainment. This is simply misuse of energy. It may come out of a place of compassion, of wanting to help the other person, but if you have drained yourself in the process, then you have damaged yourself, your car, your own vitality, and this is not good. Virginia, agreed. And we do appreciate this message. Now, regarding your explanation of the fulcrum point, it's been my experience that many young people today have never been on a seesaw in the park. So I'm asking if there's another analogy you can use to clarify the fulcrum point. Pathos. We would say to those who haven't yet experienced a seesaw to, by all means, go and experience one. However, we can offer a computer analogy. The joystick is a device that many people use while playing computer games. If you have used a computer game, you will know exactly what we mean. When the joystick is pulled to the left, the little image or the character on the screen will do something. When it is pulled far to the right, it will do the opposite. When you have two polarities, to the left is one action and the right is another action. And so the same principle applies. You can swing back and forth between left and right and take two opposing actions. Virginia. Yes, thank you for that. Has there ever been a civilization or a culture here on Earth that actually achieved a balanced fulcrum point? Such a good question. You need to answer. Yes, there has been. However, one needs to understand that when we're dealing with civilizations, we're dealing with individuals. And within a civilization's population stream, you may have 100,000 who have attained a fulcrum point position and another 3 million who have not. But a certain principle would be that if no one in a given culture has attained a balanced fulcrum point, then the entire culture, by definition, would be in chaos. So it needs to be understood that the fulcrum point is something that is attained by individuals, not by civilization. It's only when you have amassed enough individuals who have attained balance within a cultural stream that the civilization gains a balanced fulcrum point. There was a general sense of stability in the golden age of Egypt, the golden age of Greece, Lemuria, and even Atlantis had a certain level of attainment and balance before they overemphasized the mental. Virginia. In Egypt, was that in the time of Thoth? Hathor. Yes, in the time of Thoth. Virginia. So does that imply that the Hathor civilization, which you say has ascended, didn't all happen simultaneously? Or let me just ask how you explain your present ascendant civilization in terms of reaching some kind of fulcrum point, somewhere along the way. The Hathors. This is the most intriguing question that no one has ever asked before, although it seems quite obvious. We would not say that we entered the state of ascension simultaneously, but it was very close. At the moment that we entered this dimension through the portal of Sirius, we were already an ascended civilization. We came here as ascended beings. The reason we were requested to come to assist this ascension process was because we reached ascension on our planet in a similar fashion, though not exactly like what is occurring on Earth. So there was a very strong resonance because we had gone through something similar. Virginia, in your own universe, the Hathors, yes. As mentioned, this was beyond Sirius, which is a portal to this dimension. We were actually in another dimension, another universe prior to coming here. Virginia, so because of the experience you had by mastering your own emotional nature, that's what achieved your ascension, your accreditation. The Hathors, yes, our credentials. We are considered masters of love and sound. And the reason we are masters of love is because we have balanced the emotional body and have anchored ourselves in the great mystery. It is a potential for all humans to be anchored and balanced in love. For love is the highest coherent emotion generated by humans. It is a powerful focal point and balance point within the human emotional body. What is going on now is that there are a multitude of emotions playing out as a result of several billion people's different thought forms, beliefs, and perceptions. This creates all types of emotional responses. Nonetheless, in terms of human evolution, love is where you are heading. It is your potential to experience the emotion of love continuously in all levels of consciousness. This is something that we have attained, and that is why we are aligned with you. And this is why many beings from other realms throughout the universe are observing you. They can observe your situation and your emotional responses, even though some of the beings observing you don't have feelings and emotions themselves. They yearn to have it. It's a missing piece for them. And the funny thing is that many humans avoid what these beings find desirable, namely feelings and emotions. Virginia, do you have an explanation of why the earth is a training school for learning the emotion of love? The Hathors. Well, it goes back to the beginnings, and it has to do with the unfolding of Earth and its position in relationship to the physical sun. Here on Earth, the development of vegetation and the oxygen stream that surrounds it enable life as you know it to emerge. And there is a vital relationship between emotion and oxygen, as your methods of working with the breath that the yogis call pranayama demonstrate. Altering the breath to balance emotion is found in this understanding that oxygen and life force or prana hold a direct relationship to emotion. So you have a planet which has developed an environment that is highly conducive to experiencing emotion, which was recognized quite early by many cultures and civilizations intergalactically. Thus, the word went around and souls deliberately incarnated to experience this opportunity. Virginia, that's very interesting. I felt you'd give us further clarity. Now, do you think of anything else you'd like to add? The Hathors. In terms of the fulcrum moment, no. Virginia, then we give you our thanks. And that is the end of chapter 9. The chapter 10 will be Sound as Key. That's the name of the chapter, the title, Sound as Key. So today we learned how important our emotions is. Today we learned that our experiences are our initiation. And when we're experiencing something difficult, we need to master our emotions and get back to our center, which is the same thing the Palladians kind of said, so in a different way, but almost similar. And it was what I was talking about with this before. So of course, as per usual, it aligns. I had not read the chapter before, so I did not know it was going to be that. Oh, I am so sorry. I'm very sleepy today. So today I'm going to work on my fulcrum point. Learning to balance these feelings and looking at the feelings that may not be so great today. Loving myself still. Anyways, hope you guys have a great day. We will be back with the podcast later in the week. Until then, I hope that you know you are loved, that you are loved, and that you need to just be gentle with yourself through this whole process as I'm trying to remind myself to be. Okay? Hope you have a great day, guys. Bye. And a great rest of the week.